Hello! I thought long and hard what you might want to see for a 1000 subscriber surprise, and I decided to go with a mix between a little art supply haul from what I got in Paris when I was there in March, and then I will paint 2 oil pastel paintings. I already made the sketches. One of them is this beautiful street lantern I saw in front of the opera in Paris, and the other is a portrait of a stone statue. So a bit of both, a bit of art supplies, a bit of painting and oil pastel, and I hope you have a jolly good time. Let's begin with what I got from different little art supply stores in Paris. First, I found this beautiful fabric. And I thought this would be adorable to use for a cover for a book. You know, you can also bind books in fabric, and I fell in love with this. I thought it was very, very cute. It's actually supposed to be this way. So I got this little piece of cloth. In that very same art supply store, I found this stamp letter set. If I hadn't been looking for a stamp set like this already several weeks back, I don't think I would have noticed them, and I also wouldn't know how difficult it is to find a set just like this. This is the one I already have, and I had this for a while, ever since I started making art, I think. And what I dislike about it is that there are of course only capital letters, and they are very, very thick. I also like that this one looks like a typewriter, and therefore I think you could absolutely get away with, I think you can absolutely get away with holding them just like this and then pressing down all at once. With these, I always thought the distances were a bit odd between the letters. The alternative would be a letter set from something called Contact USA, and they have these little clicks in between. You can just click the letters together, which is a really cool concept, but the customs costs almost as much as the letter set, and therefore up until now I haven't got it. But so far this is looking just fine. Yeah, I think I'll have a very good time with these. Next up, I heard a lot about these 2 pencils, and my current favorite pencil is getting smaller and smaller every day. So I wasn't opposed to getting new pencils. These 2 things I got from the original Sennelier store. I was fangirling and having a great time as I was standing in front of this incredible shop. So apparently there are 3 different types of Blackwing pencil, and this one is supposed to be shiny and very easy to draw with. It says half the pressure, twice the speed. Let's sharpen it and see if that is correct. I do have 2 separate sharpeners. This Faber-Castell has another sharpener that is a bit larger than a normal sharpener. It's for their colored pencils, and I do like to use it for things like this as well. This one is the Tombow Mono 100 pencil in B. Unfortunately, I already did the sketches I have to do for the paintings now, but I'll try them out on a small sheet of paper. Unfortunately, my camera is unable to hold up with the 4K quality. It keeps overheating. I'll just use the normal settings. I do like this Tombow pencil. You need a light pressure to paint with it, which I like. And now let's test the Blackwing. The Blackwing. And I like this one as well. Just painting my hand. I do have a dirty fingernail, but I was just outside with the dog playing in the garden, therefore please excuse any dirt you can find on my hands. So yeah, I like this one as well. I think only time will tell how much I like them. Oh, but of course the eraser. Not that impressed with the eraser. No, I don't think I'm gonna use that. And now the last thing I got are these Sennelier oil pastels. You might wonder why I chose these colors, and these are the only ones that are still missing to have the full set. Yeah, don't judge me. As someone mentioned in the comments on one of my videos, there are way worse addictions to have than art supplies. The only colors that were still missing were these ones. And I was shocked, to be honest. When I was in the Sennelier store, the woman at the counter tried to squish this one in here as well. And only because she saw my shocked face did she take another box and place it in there. I did honestly expect more care for art supplies from the original Sennelier store. I mean, once I bought paper from a stationery store in Hamburg, and because there was still a tiny sliver of paper visible after he wrapped it in tissue paper, he took another tissue paper and made sure it was covered. So that's the kind of care for art supplies I do expect. Anyways, this was my very small art supply haul. I hope you enjoyed it, the stamps as well as these ones. And now let's get on to some oil pastel painting.
Summer rain on the window. Watch the time float on. Cool air blows a memento as I fall behind.
Okay, I'll show you the original, the photo that I took for here for a second on the screen here. And then you'll see why I choose only a palette of colors. It is a marble statue. I thought this camel color was a nice choice for the background and the undertone of the painting. And now I'll choose some more colors and we will start the portrait. Now this is the collection I have in terms of colors. I'll show you which one these are. I will try to stick with them. If I don't think I'll use all of them. So this is luminous yellow, a color I do love. Then we have titanium buff. This is a new one and it's perfect for this portrait. We also have chrome brown, raw sienna, and I only wrote the numbers on the left because Sennelier does keep mixing up the names. In newer versions they rename it and then you can't find it anymore. This is violet gray, violet ochre, oh, one of my faves as well, mummy. I don't think I'll use this, it's indigo light, but just in case I want to have some very dark areas. And this is reddish brown, as you can tell, also one of my favorites. Yellow gray. This is the only one with a warning label, it's called gray. And finally, of course, white. I don't have any white from Current Dot anymore, otherwise I'd use that as well. The cream is also almost empty, so I have cream, still a bit dirty. And then ash gray. And lastly, light beige. I think I should be fine with these. Let's try this.
I know, yes I know,
I'm wasting my time here with you. I know, yes I know, I'm wasting my night with this view. I shouldn't keep on singing all of these songs, but I do. I shouldn't keep on thinking all of these thoughts, but I do.
Adding another one, this is gray-green.
You know that I know I'm chasing a dream that's not real. And you know that I know losing can be part of the deal. I don't know why I give you so much, but I do. You said you couldn't give me your heart, well I knew. I know that you know you're breaking my heart and it's cruel. I know that you know I deserve somebody better than you. I keep trying to get on with my life, yes I do. I keep telling myself that I'm fine, it's not true.
Hello, it's voiceover Francis, and let's talk about the process when I paint in oil pastel. The first phase you already saw is a lot of fun, I think, and it is placing colors you can find on your reference picture or the colors that you're thinking of in your head when you paint from your imagination. We already did the most helpful thing at the very beginning, which is to study the reference and find all the colors in there that you want to put on paper. If you don't have a particular color, you take the colors that you need to combine in order to mix it yourself. And most times I start with the lightest points because I tend to paint over them if I'm not careful, and then I have trouble getting the highlights in later on. So I start with white and then I continue with the dark areas, and soon enough the object takes shape. And then it is easier for me to fill in the midtones and determine which color exactly to go for. Some people blend their paintings with the oil pastel sticks because the paint mixes so easily, and that's another reason I start with the light and dark colors. They are most times a bit apart and there is no risk of smudging it in the very beginning. The first phase for me is over when I have the first layer on the paper, and then it is time for phase 2, which is the blending. I am telling you a bit more about the 2 videos I already have in a second, where you can find out more about paper stumps as well as painting details in oil pastel. But what I am trying to do by blending with this paper stump is to get rid of all the rough edges, mix the paint, but not too much. You only want to blend the transitions of patches of paint. And then Real-Time Francis will tell you more about phase 3, which is painting details and going over the painting for layer number 2. So I think this is almost, well, the face and the hair is almost finished. I will go in with one very dark color now to make the nostrils and very few of the shadows, really just the darkest spots. And then I will finish his eyes in the same breath, because most times for the eyes you will need the darkest and lightest colors you have available. Then we'll just finish off his funny cravat or whatever he is wearing around the neck, and then we're done. I hope you had fun so far, and let's continue with the darkest spots of his portrait. I guess I will use charcoal, the color charcoal for this. It is number 228. I'll just add it on the little sheet here. By the way, until now I only used this number 6 paper stomp, and this is the number 1 I'm now using for the fine details. If you have any questions about how to make fine details with oil pastels, I have 2 separate videos about that. Paper stumps, and then another one about detail pencils you can use for oil pastels, and I will link them over the course of this video somewhere in the corner and also down below in the description, so you can take a look at that if you're interested. He's not looking to the right enough. He has a very slight tilt to the right, and I'm trying to remedy that with the help of the details. Details can really do a lot with oil pastels. I don't know what it is about charcoal. It's here it is black enough, but as soon as you touch it with the stomp, it loses all its value. That's too much, you know? It's not looking good.
I wish there was another way. Well, I would love to be free. Another version of me. Oh, won't you take me away? I just wanna go away. Oh, won't you take me away? I just wanna go away. I really need to catch a break before it is too late. I've been cut down to the bone, been at it all alone. They say you can't get free. Oh, who do you think you're trying to be? Well, I won't listen to their words, 'cause I'll be flying with the birds. Won't you take me away? I just wanna go away. Won't you take me away? I just wanna go away. Won't you take me
I like it a lot. I'm very happy with how it's looking. And I'm not even sure if I'm gonna do the cravat in particular detail. I think I'll just put some colors down. His face is the prominent feature that should catch the viewer's eyes. So let that do the work and try to stay loose. It's very tough for me to stay loose in the strokes and not render it into oblivion. Let's try that out.
Won't you take me away? I just wanna go away. Just give me one try. Just give me one chance. Give me one try. Just give me one chance.
Okay, let's definitely take the larger paper stump. I think that will help me. No details, just some color, Francis.
Won't you take me away? I just wanna go away. Won't you take me away? I just wanna go away. Won't you take me away?
I'm so happy with how this turned out. I like him a lot. Let me know what you think, and let me know if this was helpful, a helpful process to you. I do like how I managed to use some of the undertone in here in oil pastel, as well as by letting it shine through. I tried to incorporate that, and I think it worked very well. And then I just want to show you for 1 second, there are 4 colors I believe I did not use. I did very, very little luminous yellow at the very beginning, the 233, almost none actually, and then I did no 212 mummy and no 80 light indigo. The rest of these colors I did use, so let me just chip. Because this video is 1,000 subscriber celebration, I just want to say thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching the videos. I am very motivated to keep going, and I always love to hear what you think and what you want to see in the future. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!